Yo, how's it going everybody? It's DJ Sketch and welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing okay out there and staying safe and all that good stuff. And we're going to touch on a few topics here real quick over this Black Ops 4 gameplay. Yo, this Micromg 9mm fucking slaps, dude. Like, this is honestly like probably the most OP weapon in the game, next to a few others. And I just got this gold just last night, but this is some of the gameplay that was leading up to the process. I actually think this was a double thresher, I want to say, in this gameplay, so enjoy that. It's for your viewing pleasure. And speaking of Black Ops, I've also been trying to look around to see if there's been any news as far as to what we're going to be seeing, well, hopefully later on this year. So far there hasn't been much to speak of as far as Black Ops news. Last thing we really heard was that it's going to be I guess a reboot of the franchise, kind of what Modern Warfare did, almost the same thing. Just please, Treyarch, just please don't put in a bunch of doors. Please no doors, no like ultra campy spots, and please don't slow the gameplay down as much as Modern Warfare has. Please, I beg you, because I mean, we've been playing Warzone. I've been playing that like a little bit, and it's not the game for me, man. I mean, I've almost won a few times. I'm getting like some like higher placements now. But also I got a strat that me and my homie been working on, and so far the strat's pretty golden. It's just when you get to that last couple rings and whoever's got the better weapon and the better connection, they're going to win every time. And if they have height advantage over you, they're going to win every time. So, I mean, it's one of those things. I've been playing it just to play it, really, because I have nothing better to do. You're really not supposed to be going outside unless it's for, like, essential task and what have you. But, you know, still playing it because sheer boredom. Haven't deleted it yet, but it's free, so I'll give it a win, or I'll see if I can get one of those wins eventually, and then we're just kind of gonna go from there. But also, speaking of Modern Warfare, the Modern Warfare 2 campaign remaster, it's still strange to me that this was even a thing. I don't understand why you just wouldn't just package the whole thing together, similar to how they had with Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare, that little double pack they did a few years back now. But, you know, at the same time, it's like, it's just the campaign. Like, I really can't justify spending 20, 30 bucks on just that, because what's the point? I mean, if you really want to play Modern Warfare 2 that bad, just pop in the 360 or PS3 version. Or if you want to try to turn the graphic settings up and turn the FOV slider back so you can see a whole lot more stuff, just play the PC version. I really don't understand. I know this is a blatant cash grab, because I know like Activision still isn't doing awesome with everything. I know they're making money with like Modern Warfare, and I guess all the other Call of Duty is the people who actually are, I guess, like buying the microtransactions and all the garbage they got in that storefront or whatever. But it doesn't replace the game as fucking trash. I mean, Modern Warfare, I will never like this game. I'll tolerate it with the Warzone stuff. So, I mean, it's not awful, but at the same time, it ain't great either. Like, out of all the Battle Royale games, this is another one. I mean, like, I'll play it over Fortnite, or, I mean, Apex is honestly, it's a much more thought-provoking game. But with this one, like I was saying, like months, or I guess it hasn't been that long since it released, but still, it's easy mode Battle Royale, and you know, that's cool for you, cool, man. But all I can say, it's like, I'm not really, still not that crazy about it. But anyway, let's move on to some other stuff here. So Cyberpunk is still on track for a September release, thankfully. There's been not as much buzz about it as there were like a few months ago, I guess for obvious reasons. And a lot of things have already either been delayed indefinitely, like Last of Us 2, like they don't even have a release date for that anymore, which I imagine that might get pushed back to being a solely PS5 release, which I will not be surprised by. Or it may just be next year when the climate is a little bit more conducive to a game like that, because, you know, reasons. But, I mean, it's cool. Cyberpunk is still on track, honestly, because everything I've seen about that so far has looked awesome. And I really hope that we can actually get our hands on that this year. I mean, that would be great, because honestly, that game has looked pretty sick, especially with the stuff that's been coming out about it lately. CD Projekt Red is actually doing a lot of cool stuff as far as for their company, this, that, and the third, and actually trying to make the game as good as possible. And also the whole thing already where if you buy one version, it goes to the next one, you know, or if you get the base version and you can transition it over to like the next gen. That's pretty cool. So I've seen companies do it the other way around. It's like, oh, you bought the 360 version? Well, now you gotta buy the Xbox One version too. I'm looking at you, Rockstar Games and Activision. You guys were the two main offenders with that one, as far as I can remember, and Ubisoft, you guys did it too. We're not gonna talk about that today, though. Also, with the remakes, a lot of remakes and remasters, but also now the rumor has gone around, and also it has been not quite confirmed yet, but it's just about getting there. Resident Evil 4 remake. Let's talk about this one for a second, because with the first three games, Resident Evil 1 through 3, those remakes all make sense, even though Resident Evil 3 remake is not nearly as good as 1 or 2. Pretty much, yeah, like the Resident Evil 1 and 2 remakes, like those masterpieces. But 3, it kind of misses the mark in a lot of areas, and also that was like out of out of the other 2 that I mentioned, this is the one that has like the least content, and they even took an already short game and cut a bunch of stuff out of that even. So, I mean, graphically it looks good, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, you should definitely wait for a discount on that one if you haven't played it already, or at least borrow from a friend. Don't buy it right now. I mean, if you're a Resident Evil fan, go for it. But if you're new to the franchise or just want something to play, like I'd say like wait for that to get a little bit cheaper, because it's pretty short. You'll finish it in a weekend. This whole thing about the Resident Evil 4 remake though, like that was one of those games, like even back then, that was an innovation for the franchise. I know that's when it got more action driven, but at the same time that game had like its own thing going for it, and also that game was just badass. Like aside from like maybe like a graphical upgrade, there's really not much you can do to that, because if you go like and rewrite that story and like that narrative, it has a really high chance of just losing everything that made that game what it was. I mean, it's campy. I mean, the story's ridiculous, but at the same time, the story was dope, dude. It's one of those things, like, it was just fun to play. The control for the time, that was like the first time we saw the over-the-shoulder third-person perspective in the game. Still have a little bit of the tank controls, but at the same time, that's when you have like also like laser sight aiming. So this is like, it's actually, even for considering this came out a long time ago, the game is still sick. And like that's one of those games, like I would hope that they wouldn't remake this one. Maybe do Code Veronica first. I mean, do all the old canon stuff that was all based on tank control. That makes sense to me. But at the same time, Resident Evil 4, like, I say that's going like a little bit too far forward. And also, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. So also, if they want to remake Capcom, if you hear me, yeah, holler if you hear me. If you want to remake some stuff, or if you want to remaster, or just flat out remake some stuff, here's some suggestions. Beautiful Joe, throw that on the RE engine. Onimusha, like the whole trilogy, and also even the spin-off games, throw that in the RE engine. Yo, God Hand, let me see the God Hand on that RE engine. That would be the juice, dude. Like seriously, Capcom, there's so much stuff that has not been touched on in your library of IPs. You can have a field day with this RE engine, man. Like you saw how it worked with Devil May Cry 5. That game was off the chain, and you guys can do that with other stuff too. But the Resident Evils, the new one's coming eventually, Resident Evil 8, so that's gonna be dope. But at the same time, like pump the brakes on the RE remakes, man. Or at least like you got the technology. How about you bring back some of those older franchises, Ghouls and Ghosts? That'd be fire, just saying. But what we're going to leave off on today is, speaking of games that would be fire and all that kind of stuff, Randy Pitchford. I swear, like, this guy comes up almost as much as Pete Hines and Todd Howard from all these other people. And Randy Bo Bandy. Why are you trying to take these people's money? Like, you need to give your dev team that was respecting their bonuses, you need to give those people their money, man. I don't know what has been dude's deal like those last few years, like especially after that Medieval Times incident, which we're not going to get into that because it's not exactly appropriate. But at the same time, it's like Randy Pitchford, like there needs to be a new, whatever your role is at Gearbox, like someone else needs to step up and get Randy out, man. Because like if you're going to sit here and like off the back of your team that like pretty much like had to deal with all the ridiculous shit that you were doing through the entire development cycle, and then some, probably even further back than that even, and then you're gonna sit here and like just like not give people their bonuses for a game that made millions of dollars and like sold like numerous hundreds of thousands of copies, if not more. Like, come on, man, that's a super dick move. Like, seriously, like I don't understand where these big wigs and all this kind of stuff get the idea that they can just like take the work off other people, get the max amount of profit, and then be like, when it comes down to sharing it, all of a sudden, bonuses aren't here, guys. It'll be another few weeks or something. I gotta go buy, and you know, it's not a good look, homie. It's super not a good look, man. But yeah, that's enough rambling for one day. Again, I hope you guys are all staying safe out there. Wash your hands and don't touch your face. Brush and floss after every meal, or at least twice a day, whatever. And just keep doing what you're doing. Stay safe out there. Hopefully we can get back to normal here soonish. But yeah, just take it easy, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.